Well, and then essentially you just start and work together for 6 months, hopefully on something which is interesting.
Something that I think it's worth mentioning, you can actually pick two. You can actually pick two mentees for the same project, but the stipend will be shared. That's something that you can do as well.
Okay, the money is per
Yeah, the money
project
is
and
per.
not
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
It's per project. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Right. Anyway, all those details you find there on the link. And definitely more details as well. Yeah, what else do we have here? All right, this is a great one. Our top 10 recommendations. If you decide to do this program, then do those things and it will be a success. Right? No. Okay. Okay, the first recommendation is keep the project simple. This sounds very simple, but it's actually, I think it's a big problem for many of those mentorship projects. In particular, I was part of the tech reviewing a lot of those applications. And when I read an application of a project proposal implementing a new BFT protocol as part of a mentorship, well, I don't know where we'll get there in 6 months. This is, I mean, again, my opinion. So I would say, well, keep it simple, something realistic, which you can also achieve and which is fun. You guys, let's do this interactive. You go for the next one.
Okay, clearly define expectations, prerequisites, and time commitments up front. That's something that I think it's very important. It keeps everybody on the same page, including the mentee. You don't want to not be clear about this and get, not the contribution that you were expecting weekly from your mentee. That's something that I think it's very important, the time commitment of your mentee. On the prerequisites side, I think that's more of a selection, the part of the selection of the mentee. But also the expectations should be, I think, very clear on the description of the project. Where do you want to go? What do you want to achieve in the project? And that should be stated very clearly on the project. So for our first project was basically creating the integration between the two projects. That was the main objective. And the second one was create an application on top of the first integration that was made. So we had those objectives very clear from the get-go.
The other one, it was important, that helped that we didn't have to dedicate that much time, but we had material for, okay, if you want to start, well, go through our materials, go through our first use case and see if you can do that, and do you understand, and read the material that we have published about it. And that also helped us in understanding how good or not our documentation was and what we needed to improve, both of our projects, right? So that's very important because they have 20 hours. If you don't have anything, they don't know how to be able to invest. But if they have material that they have to go through and read and test, then it's kind of like, okay, they start getting the hang of of what they have to do, right?
All right, the next one you maybe already know, because I already said this. Use a well-scoped, good first issue or an PR for either the onboarding or during your interview. It's really cool that then you can see, do they know already GitHub, how GitHub works? Makes it a lot of easier.
I don't know if we have to go through
Yeah, actually the next one is something that I mentioned on the first one. So clearly define expectations and defining clear goals, milestones, all that. I mean, we've gone through that, so I'm going to go the next one. So be flexible to leverage the strengths of your mentee. That's something that I think was very interesting with the last mentorship that we had. So, I mean, it was something that our mentee thought good as a contribution, not actually the core part, but he actually made a kind of a CLI tool for running the sample, and it's very interesting for demo purposes, I think, because I mean that's clearly outside of the actual scope, the original scope, but the way that he made the sample would allow him to, split his terminal in 4 parts and run each part with an interactive tooling that he built on top of the actual sample. And because we're dealing with digital assets, he could see, assets being transferred to that between parties and being executed on the escrow. We had a confidential escrow, and it was very interesting. It was something that was part of his attitude towards the project, and that's something that you should be aware of, and not, be flexible about it. Not, you don't want to cut your mentee off because of something like that. And I think it was good that he did it.
And our first mentee, Osama, also had, I remember he helped with some other things that wasn't part of the scope, but he had skills in that. And
yeah, he was really good in writing GitHub actions.
Yes, and so he helped.
Did quite a lot for the project in that area, even though this was not part of this core project.
Then I'm going to skip one because the one I think was important, not only for the mentee, but also for us, was establish regular meetings, because it helped us also. All of us knew that Friday, at least our mornings, his afternoon, we had the meeting with the mentee. So it gave us structure to be able to organize our work week, trying to respect that time is when we were going to be meeting with the mentee. And it gave the mentee also structure that he knew that he might have to cram the 20 hours in 2 days. It didn't matter. But by Friday, whatever we had asked him, and we also had him try to set an agenda. Okay, how are you going to structure your work? So the Fridays we could control, okay, how far advanced are you? How are you going? Are you going to be in time or not? Yeah, any blockers. That way it gave us, helped us keep a lot of structure and be able to reach our goal, right?
Right. So one thing we also really liked is, having this structured, let's say, this decision-making, writing logs. And most of those candidates are just in school. They don't know how to collaborate with people over the internet usually. But this is the good way to teach them how to plan a project. They most probably don't know that. This is a very good thing to basically, for us to don't lose track of what's going on in the project, but also for them to basically learn that stuff, how this is working. I think those three are all around this documentation and let's say also celebrate your first PR and things like that. And what we actually, all of those mentees, we realized that they're kind of shy most of the time. So they're, yes, they speak with you, but they very often send you a direct message over Discord and with a nice question. And then you sometimes have to ask your mentee, hey, can you maybe ask this question on the Discord channel for the project? And I answer there because most probably other people would also be interested in that question, and in particular in this answer. So those are our 10 top 10 recommendations. Is there anything you guys have in your mind which we missed here? Sorry?
Are you applying again this coming year?
Yeah, I think I would like to do something.
We haven't thought about it.
We haven't thought about it yet, but this is.
We come up at the last minute with the idea.
Yeah.
So in a program that I was involved at Microsoft, we always made sure that the mentee got to ship a feature that
Yes.
they could point to. And they'd say, this feature in Windows Mobile, MSN, or Windows, that is a feature that I worked on, and this is the piece that I worked on. So to give them not just a portfolio piece, but something that they could, Mom, if you open up Windows and you go to the thing,
Yes.
you'll see the code that I put in the thing. And this is maybe a little bit more esoteric, but giving them not just a celebration of their success, but making sure that it's public and that it's easy for them to point to and say, this is the thing, and I did it. So.
Any other ideas? Right. What?
What are you doing the same? What are you doing differently, say, if you were to apply in 2026?
So you're asking what I would do differently in the next? Oh my gosh. What would I do differently? I think I would. Let me think about that. Do you have an idea?
Now I'm thinking about it. What do you think, Maria?
Well, if y'all want a minute to think about it, how about I share where people can go on the wiki real quick?
Yeah, sure.
This is our last slide anyway.
Yeah, that was a. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it was the last one.
Okay, perfect.
Yep. So, do you want a microphone, David?
Sure. So thank you very much. I do think the mentorship program is very important. I'll give you a really easy to remember shorter URL just so you can go. If you go to wiki.lfdecentralizedtrust.org, you can find a link here to the mentorship program. This will take you to where you can get all the details. You can find the program dates. Real soon, just in a week or so, we're going to start communicating about the period where you could submit a proposal. So now's a great time to be thinking about if this is something that you want to do. And as you shared, there'll be a whole process. The proposals come in, the Technical Advisory Council will review them and vet them. So this will all get started very soon. So if you're interested, again, just wiki.lfdecentralizedtrust.org. You can find the link right here. And I will add one thing just to think about. I mean, there is absolutely no guarantee that somebody who will get involved with your mentorship program will stay involved. But just to turn it around a little bit, I would just say, if you had the money to hire somebody, there's also no guarantee that person would stay involved. You hire somebody, you have no idea they're going to be around for 6 more months, but you still onboard them, you still work with them, you still bring them into your project without that guarantee. So don't let the lack of a guarantee that the mentor or the mentee will stick around block you, right? I mean, open source is about bringing people into your project, right? And you know, that's just the way that a maintainer, you know, that's how you build a community. You share your knowledge with the people who show up. Some people stay involved, some people don't. But that's no different from any other work experience if you were to hire somebody, right? So, you know, it's great when they do stay involved. There's a person who will be here tomorrow, Carlos, who got involved as a mentee and is now a mentor. You mentioned Osama. There was a mentee who got involved who's now on the Technical Advisory Council. He ran last year for that, so he stayed involved in the community. So it absolutely does happen, but again, that's not necessarily the goal, and it doesn't necessarily happen every single time.
Question, maybe I should know, but I don't know. The tech has a given number of projects they bring every year to the. It's like just reviewing those who are there and decide how many are good.
So there is a score system,
Yeah,
and you basically put on numbers
yeah.
on every application, and then basically LFDT decided how many there
How
were.
many are good enough? So it's
Yeah.
more like how many are better than you.
Well, it fits our
10
budget.
points and-
If we have a budget for 10, we'll take the top 10 scored ones, so, you know.
Is that budget already defined?
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know the number off the
Yeah.
top of my head.
Yeah.
Min, I don't know if you've met Min before. Min runs our mentorship program.
Okay, yeah. And second question, have you always only submitted like one and that was taken? Or was it like, oh, we submit 5 ideas and out of that one will be the one the tech moves forward?
From my experience, I think there was one year where I submitted something which got not selected, and then it was converted into Linux Foundation Learning Program project, which is the unpaid version of the mentorship, I believe.
Yeah, we've tried in the past to use.
You can go through the history on the repo. So all these mentorship sorry, it's been a long week. All of the mentorship project proposals come in as issues. And they are either selected or not selected. And you can go and look at the repo and look at the issues and just search for not selected and selected. And one of the questions is about having multiples. Yes, we've had projects put in for like a half a dozen. It really just depends on the carrying capacity of the budget that we have and the expertise of that they're requiring. Because if you're putting in for half a dozen documentation type mentorship projects, that's different than putting in for a half a dozen master's thesis type projects. So that's It just depends on the carrying capacity of the budget
Yeah.
and the project.
Yeah, and if you're curious to see the last year's program, it's all on the wiki. Have you given some more thought to the question about what would you do differently?
Well, I think what I would like to do next year is doing a mentorship outside of the Fabric private chain code thing, or maybe in addition to Fabric private chain code, so maybe in the Fabric X ecosystem. Because there, I think there are a couple of ideas which are flying around, which we would like to, to just try out, but I don't see that we have the time for that. But maybe that's not what you were asking for. Yeah.
But I think that's positive. I think like you found a good way to make it work. So I've been researching Linux Foundation mentorships as well to possibly like try and become a mentor. And just wanted to know the best practices which you shared and everything.
Yeah.
So that's really encouraging to see like there weren't that many like major.
No, I would definitely go forward with it. I mean, I don't have any reason why I should not continue as a mentor. I mean, as long as you basically have the time for that, right? I mean, but again, it depends a little bit on your mentee and how you structure your work, how many hours per week you can invest into that. And I mean, if your normal day-to-day workload is so high that you cannot offer this to someone else to help them, well, then it's maybe not a good idea. But luckily, I mean, for me, I found a way to include this in my work life. And I mean, it's fun. I mean, I really enjoy sitting there in the evening doing something instead of watching Netflix. Not always, but yeah.
Okay. Any other questions?
Is the stipend competitive? If I recommend that mentee program to someone who is learning pursuing master degree has a potential to do a TA or RI job, is that stipend competitive to run him out of the TA position and do the?
Is the stipend competitive?
Yeah.
I mean, we're a nonprofit, so we don't have a huge budget. So yeah, I'm sure you could find a mentorship program that pays more. Like I'm sure, the big Silicon Valley companies certainly could have much more, financially competitive stipends.
If you look at GSOC, we're not at all competitive with GSOC because Google has money coming out of the sewers, right? They have money just flowing over everything.
Yeah.
And at Microsoft, this would not be competitive because, we paid an FTE for badge wage for 6 months or whatever. But that was also required but at the same time, right? You're coming to us and doing the thing. With this being virtual and being scaled into local currencies, it is more competitive. But is it competitive with GSOC? No. Is it competitive with like EEA's program? No. Because we don't have money.
Okay, so it's different for different countries.
Yeah, it's scaled. We do. It's the cost of living adjustment. But I mean, I would say it's competitive in the sense that it's prestigious. I mean, if somebody goes through this program, they have Linux Foundation on their resume. Like, it's not just about the dollar amount, I would say.
I would agree with that. I have many people who come to me and ask me, LFX mentorships, I would really like to do them. Every day they ask me this. And I think sometimes LFX mentorships are not even paid.
Yeah, Marcus alluded to that. We did try, I guess 2 years ago, was it? We used the tool, so we had more mentorship proposals than we had budget for, and we tried using the same platform for unfunded mentorships. And I think those worked reasonably well. We could explore, if we get more proposals this year than we have budget for, we could try doing that again.
I'm quite confident that there are some people that are interested because they want to have just the opportunity to be able to
Yeah.
work and progress with their skills.
And people did, absolutely. They applied for the unfunded ones as well.
I think
Yeah, what is the criteria for accepting or rejecting a proposal?
What is the criteria for accepting a proposal? I mean, it's really up for the TAC. I mean, it's kind of your judgment call, right?
right. You basically try to figure out if this is realistic, in the sense that this is something achievable. I mean, often I ask myself, well, is this useful? but then I realized, well, I mean, I cannot judge this. I mean, maybe it doesn't, it's not useful for me, but I mean, for the community too. So why not, right? So I think the tech mainly looks at the proposal and thinks, okay, is this something realistic? That it's something which a mentee can achieve? Do we have basically all the things covered? That there is a little bit of coding involved, or is this only about documentation? Or I think there was a third one, maybe about research.
Yeah.
But yeah, essentially you basically, and then you're also looking for, okay, is this maybe a mentorship which brings projects together? I mean, this is always a bonus. Yeah, cool. So Cacti team collaborates in this, whatever.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep.
That makes it easier, right?
Okay, so because from Fabric team we submitted one project in 2019 and then another in 2020, both were unselected, but we really did not get the feedback, like why it was unselected. Only
Oh.
was given to us.
Okay, well, I'm sorry about that. That's probably not a great experience then.
So after that we never submitted.
Well, I don't know if those TAC members from those years are going to be here this week or not. But yeah, I mean, I guess that's good feedback. It's on us maybe this year to provide feedback to the people maybe who weren't selected about, hey, next year consider X, Y, and Z or something, right? But that's good. Sorry that was.
In this case, right? If the tech decides, okay, those 20 proposals are great, but we only have budget for 10.
That's fair.
There's some randomness now involved.
Yeah.
So.
That was both the project were practical, 4 maintainers from Fabric,
Yeah.
but I mean we were surprised, so we didn't know why it was rejected.
Yeah.
After that we lost interest.
That's okay. I'm sorry again. Sorry that was your experience, but I would encourage you to try again this year.
Definitely we will do that for Fabric X.
Any other mentorship questions? Great. Well, thank you very much. Thank you. And then, Hendrik, if you want to do some wrap up, I can pull up the kind of the draft agenda for tomorrow and we can look at that and discuss.
Yeah, we can do that. Give me just a second.